So if there's one thing that can make me fall in love with a game very quickly, it's a strong combat system. And that, guys, is why I'm showing you Sifu today. So this is the first 5 minutes of the first level after the tutorial, because I think that this gives you a really strong sense of what this game is about, but without really any story spoilers in it. So Sifu is a game that uses a combat system which initially reminded me of Free Flow in the same respect as Arkham Asylum and more recently Spider-Man Miles Morales. However, the more I played it, the more I realised it really is doing its own thing, as much as you can see the DNA of a free flow system, those quick, stylish takedowns, the fantastic animations in the combat, but it does layer on some extra bits which I think distinguish it. First of all, just to say this right away, this is not an easy game to play. Although it starts pretty straightforward, these opening levels aren't too difficult. It very quickly shows you that you need to master the defensive elements of this game. So in a basic sense, when an enemy goes to strike you, you can block their attack, and when you do this, it will raise their break guard meter, and once you raise it to full, as you're about to see here, for example, you can go in for a quick kill, which also replenishes your health. So it's important to keep doing that so that you can, well, stay alive. But the thing is, sometimes they'll throw a heavier attack at you. Maybe they just kick really hard. Maybe they'll throw a bottle at you, for example. And in such a case, you can block it, but it will raise your own break guard. And then after a period of time, if they've hit you enough, even if you keep trying to block, you won't be able to. They'll break through your guard and you'll get hit quite badly for it. So you need to know when to do a basic block, which if you're familiar with free flow systems is quite easy, but you also need to know when to dodge. And dodging, you have got to get the timing right down on that, because it's a very quick thing. You just stand in place and dodge left or dodge right, and it's very fun to do as you swerve out of the way just as they go for a heavy attack. And then you can go in ideally for your own blow, but if they're still in the middle of their combo, they could strike you if you try to retaliate too quickly. So there's a lot of responding to the enemy's combat patterns, and it's almost got that mirror's edge phenomena where the first time you go through a level, it feels almost too difficult. You have to anticipate a lot of things which feel impossible, but when you come back to it, because you know the way in which they're going to come at you, you can plan for it and sometimes just easily deal with them. That hallway fight, for example, it's never too difficult, but I certainly didn't get through it that quickly the first time I played it. It was only from learning that I need to make sure I'm always armed with a pipe, which really quickly breaks down their stamina guard, and also to get a quick strike by throwing a bottle at one of the people. Those just small things can really help you overcome enemies. And just in terms of how the game feels to play, this is a great example of why I love the DualSense controller. Every single strike feels very precise in your hands and makes the crunchiness, if you will, of the combat all that more satisfying. It's not just about the on-screen visual feedback of you doing these finishes, it's also in your hands. You can actually feel it. So it adds an extra dimension to this kind of combat, I think. So here's a good example of where it can get quite challenging. My health has gone down a fair bit. I'm getting surrounded. And I remember while I was playing this, it did go through my mind that I'm going to have to be a little bit more defensive. But at the same time, if you go too defensive, it's quite hard to break through your opponent's guards just by blocking them. You do need to do a little bit of defensive. And picking up weapons like you see now can be a very quick way of bringing them down. And just getting that little sliver of health back from doing the takedown genuinely can make a difference in a fight. So if you're not aware of your surroundings and your opponents, they can come at you so quickly. I've been knocked to the floor and had 2 pipes just instantly, well, not instantly kill me, but almost instantly kill me. And there's an interesting death system in the game as well, which I can't even quite liken to anything else. So I will say, in my experience at least, it is unique, where if you die, you can choose to just give up, or you can rise again, which means you will age. So at the moment, if you look at the top left corner, you'll see I'm age 20. But if I die and want to resurrect, I will become age 21. If I resurrect again too quickly, it will then have an almost exponential growth situation where I will go to 23 and then like 26. But if you defeat powerful enemies, it will negate the exponential growth and you will age at a slower rate. So It's important to master these levels as quick as you can, because otherwise you're going to age too fast. And if you get to age 70 and then or over age 70 and you die again, then it will be game over. So a big part of the game is mastering the levels, not just getting through them so you come out as young as possible. I'm trying to go for leaving the first level at age 20 if I can, to make the later levels easier for myself. But yeah, just a quick look at Sifu, guys. Really enjoying it so far. A review may follow later. As always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.